We are Southern Colorado, and this week we are Pueblo. Pueblo's storied past illustrates a constant evolution that has kept it relevant over the years.
Yeah, while a good chunk of its history is carved in steel, it has shown it can create a new path and continue to form a prosperous future. El Pueblo, called Fort Pueblo, was a trading post built in 1842, located at the time on the U.S.-Mexican border, where the Pueblo History Museum can be found today.
Both served both Mexico and the United States, and was about 60 miles from the Santa Fe Trail. And it began, as I said, an agricultural community and a trading post community that was started by former fur trappers, New Mexican settlers that came to this area to begin a new trading post and a confluence for that.
For a dozen years, they sold goods, livestock, and produce. But with the presence of Arapaho, Cheyenne, and other tribes in the area, the fate of the post ended tragically.
If you've heard of the 1854 Christmas tragedy that occurred, it was when the entire trading post was attacked and 12 men and women were killed and children were taken and kidnapped.
Pueblo's development stretched beyond agriculture. Steel emerged as a key industry very early. The integrated iron and steel mill was built in 1881 in Pueblo on the south side of the Arkansas River.
And it brought immigrants from around the world, European immigrants as well. I believe there were as many as 30 different immigrant populations that were living in Pueblo at the time that the steel mill became the most important employer here in Pueblo. And then about 7 years later, Bessemer became part of Pueblo. That's why we have so many different main streets here in Pueblo, because it was sectioned off into 4 different cities initially.
For most of its history, the steel mill on the south side of town was Pueblo's main industry. In fact, for nearly a century, it was the largest employer in the state of Colorado, giving Pueblo the title of the only steel town west of the Mississippi River. But it's the convergence of 2 rivers that changed the landscape of Pueblo forever.
It was a flood between where the Arkansas River and the Fountain River met, and it was a result of the torrential rains that happened in June of 1921 that caused the banks to overflow and to come into downtown Pueblo, and it basically closed down all the businesses, flooded, caused hundreds of lives to be lost as a result.
You can see just how high the waters got. Markers at Memorial Hall documenting the flood level from 100 years ago.
And it changed Pueblo in many ways, in that we did have to devise a new way of containing the river and building the new levee. It also changed the way in which we knew that water was a great influence on our town, being right in the middle of the Arkansas River.
And it still is today, the historic Arkansas River Walk that now has boat rides, public art, and events. And just a mile away, Heroes Plaza, honoring its 4 Medal of Honor recipients, commemorating the tagline adopted in 1993, Home of Heroes, as Pueblo can claim more recipients of that medal per capita than any other city in the United States.
We're proud of that. We're proud of our military history, and we're proud of to be called the Home of Heroes.
Pueblo has had many identities through the years. Whatever you choose to call it now, you can't deny its rich history, and that's why more than 100,000 are proud to call it home.